We're welcoming Aliza Bloom Robinson, Reverend and longtime friend for many of us. I was just trying to think, 20 plus years, I'm sure. And she's speaking on a culture of love. We'll go ahead to the bio just briefly. She's got a lot going on. She's been ordained for 25 years, serving as a senior minister for 15, and became Unity Worldwide Ministries consultant, where she works with leadership teams, congregations, ministers, and transitions. She has a private practice and business called New Humanity Now, and she is a maker of things from a spiritual perspective that's always interesting. And we are looking forward to hearing you this morning. Aliza, please.
All right. Thank you for that, Dennis. Yes, it's always good. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Always good to see you all here. My friend Leila is here. Welcome. Can you, given the current culture of the world, imagine if we turned the world into a global culture of love? Can you even imagine that? Or is your first response, that'll never happen? Not in my lifetime, not based on X and Y and Z and A and B and C and all those things. But I want you today to lean into that possibility, to lean into activating the spiritual principles as we know them, as we teach them, as we practice them, to open your mind and your heart to the possibility. What if we could turn this world into a whole culture of love? What would that even look like? What would that even be like? What would it feel like? I have some answers to those questions, but I want to leave it in this moment to what's moving in you. The secondary question is, as you lean into that, well, let's throw some words in there. Let's throw some equality and love and oneness. This is the Center for Universal Oneness. What if we manifested that? What if we lived in that culture of oneness all the time? 100% of the time? What if our governments and our healthcare and our political systems and our all the governing systems, what if our money and our relationships and our careers were all based in this foundation that had love as its basis? Like, just lean in again. And then the secondary question is, what comes up? What comes up in the form of resistance or distraction or, yeah, right, disbelief? What comes up for you? That's the piece we want to lean into today, because we can vision all day long, but if we don't bring it into action, if we don't bring it into belief, nothing's going to change. So for me, this is a part of my work called New Humanity Now. And what I've been seeing and leaning and working and creating probably for 12 or 15 years now, ever since I started working with Barbara Marx Hubbard way back in, say, 2010, when we were leaning towards Birth 2012, which was something that was really exciting. We've now done 12 years into that, and now we're in Birth 2025. And when we look at what's going on in the world, what we see is chaos. We see plane crashes, helicopter crashes, we see fires, we see random weird weather, we see all this stuff going on politically, not only in our country, but in all the countries. But if we separate out from the outer awareness, and we come into our inner being and we look and we activate and we remember and we integrate our spiritual principles, we know that humanity as a whole is on a cusp. We're in an evolution and awakening. We are in a breakdown so that we can break through. We are ready in a way like never ever on this planet before to move from an experience of separation to an experience of oneness. We're in that gap. And the more light that we are and that we see, the more it reveals the dark, right? Or the chaos. And I know there's a lot of people in a lot of emotion right now. And if you are personally suffering or personally fearing for your life and your well-being, we hold a sacred container around you. And in our culture of love and in our culture of oneness, we hold safety around you. We hold protection around you. We know that all people are divine. Every single person on this planet has as their foundation divinity. Now, some of the behavior we might question, but we're not here to judge behavior. We're here to recognize the light and the love that we are and all people are. We're here to call forth and activate your own brilliance, not from a, hey, look at me, I'm brilliant, but from a soul's evolution and the brilliance of every other person on the planet. So there are things to pay attention to. But for most of us, what we're paying attention to, well, let me ask this as a question. What we pay attention to will cause how we feel in our beings, and we will get more of what we're paying attention to. So are you happy with what you're paying attention to? Is it causing you to feel more love and more light and more grace and more compassion? Just asking. Makes me think of a little bit of a joke. There was an old woman who was sitting in the front row of a church, and she's like, preach it, preach it, preach it, preach it. And all of a sudden the minister says something like what I just said. And she said, well, now you're meddling. But I want to meddle because we learned in ministerial school way back 25, 27 years ago to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. And there's too many of us that are super comfortable, and yet we're whining and we're complaining and we're stuck in lack and limitation. But that's not what we're here to do. That's all distraction to what we're here to be. And when we activate what we're here to be, then we can do what we're here to do. So if what you're paying attention to is working for you, great, keep doing it. Does it cause you to feel better, or does it cause you to feel worse? Just notice that for yourself. What we know is what we put our attention on is what we get more of. So if it's not working for you, I'm going to invite you, I'm going to challenge you to a big, bold idea. I heard a word this week. It was a new word to me. It's called delulu, D-E-L-U-L-U. Delulu. It means crazy, whacked, kind of just whack out. It comes from the word delusional. My question, my big bold idea is, could you be delulu enough to imagine a world that had a global culture of love? Right? Let it move you, because you could come and listen to all your speakers every week and not change a thing. But what good does that do? Right? What if every speaker, including me today, changes something in you that then changes the world? One story, let me tell you a story. No, I want to give you a quote first about Delulu, right? Crazy ideas, big, bold ideas, dreams, envisioning a world, a global culture of love. There's a group of us, I'm in a global consciousness group, a couple of them, and there's a group of us, over 50 some people in this particular round, who are envisioning that every single day as a spiritual practice. We're taking it into an intuitive meditative journey and seeing what we see. And I did it in November, December for 30 days, every single day, didn't miss a day. And then we're doing it again. We're about 2/3 of the way through now as a bigger group. And I will tell you, magic happens. Magic happens. The first day, I'm like, I got what I thought I was going to get, but I kept leaning into, and what else, and what else, and what else, and what else, and what was happening, excuse me, and continues to happen in my consciousness is brilliance. It's really quite magical, and it causes me to be able to look at the news from a different point of view, to not get hooked and blown around by the things that we see in the world. So Niels Bohr says this: if an idea does not appear bizarre, there's no hope for it. I love that one. Gioconda Belli says, the world has always gone forward when people have dared to have crazy ideas. And Peter Diamandis says, the day before something is a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. Can't you feel that to be true for yourself? And of course, a joke. Behind every crazy woman is a man who made her that way. Sorry, men. We love you. We love our men. Jeff goes like this. So how do we do it? Well, one ways we can do it, I'm going to share a story called the Daffodil Principle. The Daffodil Principle comes from a story that starts out with a woman who has a daughter who has 2 young children, and they're up in the Seattle rainy Northwest kind of area, and it was spring, and the daughter was like, you've got to come, and the mother's like busy, and she's like, okay, finally I'll come on Tuesday. But on Tuesday, it's rainy and dreary and windy and cold. And she gets to her daughter's house and she's just fussing all the way over there. It's like, oh, I've got other things I can do. And oh my gosh, yeah, I'd like to see the kids, but I'm only going to stay a few minutes and I'm going to get about my day. And she gets there and the daughter says, we're going to go for a drive. She's like, are you kidding me? I just drove over here. It's nasty out there. And she says, no. Well, she makes up a story. Anyway, they get in the car, and the story she made up, she didn't go. And the mother's like, where are we going? And she goes, just hold tight. It'll be fine. You're going to really appreciate it when we get there. So we got out, she got to a particular place, and they got out of the car, and yeah, it's still drizzly and cold and nasty. And they each took one of the kids' hands and followed the daughter, whose name was Carolyn, down the path. And all of a sudden they turned a corner, and the mom looked up and gasped. She says, before me lay the most glorious sight. It looked as though someone had taken a great vat of gold and poured it down over the mountain peak and the slopes. The flowers were planted in majestic swirling patterns, great ribbons and swaths of deep orange, white, lemon yellow, salmon pink, saffron, and butter yellow. Each different colored variety was planted as a group so that it swirled and flowed like its own river with its own unique hue. There were 5 acres of flowers. The mother gasped again, who has done this? And the daughter Carolyn said, it's just one woman. She lives on the property. That's her home right over there. She pointed to a well-kept, small A-frame house. We walked up to the house, and on the patio, we saw a poster, answers to the questions I know you are asking. Don't we all need one of those, right? The first answer was a simple one, 50,000 bulbs. The second answer was one at a time by one woman, 2 hands, 2 feet, and very little brain. The third began in 1958. There it was, the Daffodil Principle. And the mom said, for me, that moment was a life-changing experience. She thought of the woman who she'd never met, who for more than 40 years, way more than 40 years now, 50, 60 some years, had begun one bulb at a time to bring her joy, her vision of beauty to an obscure mountaintop. Still, just planting one bulb at a time, year after year, had changed the world. The principle of the daffodil garden, as taught, is one of the greatest principles of celebration. Move toward your goals and your dreams and your desires. Move toward a vision of a global culture that has love as its foundation. One step at a time, one baby step at a time, and learning to love the doing, learning to use the momentum and the accumulation of time. When we multiply the tiny pieces of time with small increments of daily effort, we too will find that we can accomplish magnificent things. We can change the world. We are changing the world. And the mom says, it makes me sad in a way. And the daughter says, why? And she goes, well, think of all the things I could have done. All the years that I've had, that I've wasted my time. And Carolyn, in her wisdom, said, well, start tomorrow. I would say, start today. Start today. The one small action every single day from a place of centered, grounded, intentional movement will build momentum. For years, I've talked about the quantum leap. My ongoing group, 5, 6, 7 years now, is called Quantum Burst. We love to quantum leap. But I think we've gone beyond quantum now. We've gone beyond quantum into instant. The word that comes is manifestation, but I don't really like that word anymore. Instant change. And then I just also this week just saw that the definition of quantum is many little increments. Like when you have a quantum leap, you have been building momentum, many little increments, so that they come so fast and so quick and so profound, it looks like you've had a quantum leap. But the increments, the many little increments, start with one small thing, one small decision, one small action. But what if one small action doubled every single day? Think about that. Just, remember when we used to do the prosperity experiments and we would start with, let's put $1 in an envelope and double it every single day for 30 days. I don't remember the math. I wasn't going to talk about this. It just came to me. But, the first day you put $1 in, the second day you put 2 in, the third day you put 4 in, the next day you put 8 in, the next day you put 16 in. And look how quickly the increments bring profound change, or profound abundance, or whatever. But it's that increments, like start where you are and build momentum. So what can you do today, whatever it is for you, that is equivalent to planting one daffodil bulb, whatever it is that is equivalent to imagining or dreaming or visioning a field of 5 acres of daffodils, or a world that has as its culture a global culture of love. So some of the things that came for me when I envisioned it, and we're going to do in our meditation, we're going to envision it, and then I'm going to wrap our meditation up with a few more words about what we envisioned. But the impact of doing this was a ripple effect, sort of like the increment effect. But it only came when I started adding action. What is it that I could do today? Some of the things that I saw, I visioned. I can't quite imagine that will happen this year or this month, but I envision so much change where people truly are about connection. And what comes from that connection, and knowing that every person is worthy and valuable and brilliant and divine, is that love sort of came as the outcome. So it started as the intention, and then it's become the outcome. So I see lots of almost villages that are self-sufficient and back into communion with the land and communion with the earth and communion with ways that become sufficient and sustainable. I see systems, all the systems that, again, for 15 years, I've been seeing our systems need to change. They don't work. They don't work for anybody. They don't work. So the systems now have risen up organically from these grassroots places, and people become generous of spirit. They're giving from their soul. They're giving ideas and compassion and connection. And what comes from that is innovation and collaboration and creativity in ways we could have never even imagined. But it starts with one action. And so what is one way that you can take action today? And maybe it'll be whatever it is for you. But what keeps coming for me consistently, and what seems to be my theme this year, is be a little kinder, right? To yourself, to those you live with, to those you interact with, to the clerks in the store, to whoever you run into in the world. If you're in the healthcare system, be kinder to the people who are caring for you. If you're in the grocery, be kinder to the people who are around you. And kinder can be an inner smile, right? It could be a big thing, but it doesn't have to be. It's the little planting of one seed. Eileen Cady, the founder of the Findhorn organization, who I used to follow a lot, showed up in my realm again recently with a daily contemplation. I would like to read it to you. Excuse me. Do you realize that what you do, how you live, and how you think can help or hinder the state of the world? Cease being drawn into the whirlpool of chaos and confusion, of destruction and devastation, and start right now, concentrating on the wonder and beauty of the world around you. Give thanks for everything. Bless all those souls whom you contact. Refuse to see the worst in people, in things or conditions, and seek always for the very best. It's not like being an ostrich, hiding your head in the sand and refusing to face the realities of the world. It's simply looking for and concentrating on the very best in everything and everyone. You are a tiny world within yourself. When there's peace, harmony, love, and understanding right there deep within your little world, it will be reflected in the outer world all around you. When you can do that, you are beginning to help the whole vast situation in the world. This is from a book that she wrote many years ago. It feels like a daily contemplation for today, doesn't it? So why? When you take charge of your inner world, you can impact the outer world. Our world needs our love. It needs our light. It needs our principles more than ever before. And it's time to quit waiting for somebody to rescue us. Nobody's going to rescue us. We are the ones. We are the ones. Tiny increments, one seed at a time, one action at a time, that will change the world. To get a result that we've never had before requires us to do something different that we have never done before. So one of our basic principles. So how? I challenge you. I love challenging you daily, at least until you have a speaker next week. But I would say for a month, try 30 days. Every single day in your meditation, ask yourself the question, what would the world look like if we had a global culture of love? And then don't think it up. Allow yourself, from the wisdom of the universe, allow yourself to receive it, to dream it, to be it. Go in the future if you need to, like 10 years from now, 3 years from now. The global culture is one of love. What does that look like? And let that question guide your meditation, guide your words, guide your actions, guide your thoughts. And look what happens. Notice what happens. So let's take that into a time of meditation. So if you're willing, take a deep breath in. Do whatever it is you do to center yourself, to move from your head to your body, to your heart. Just take a couple of breaths as you land into that point of stillness within your own being. And for this meditation, I invite you to invoke and call forth a beautiful childlike energy of curiosity and innocence. And choose to serve your higher heart and the higher heart of the world. As we invoke innocence and curiosity, that helps us move from the mundane to the magical, from what we call reality into possibilities. Creates almost a portal. So if you see it as a portal, move through it. If you see it as a bridge, walk over it. And land in this place, the field of your higher spiritual heart. And just by landing in your spiritual heart, feel your body, your mind, your emotions softening. Because here you know oneness. Here you know love. Here you are complete in your soul essence. I invite you to explore this field of your spiritual heart. And as you do so, you come to a clearing. And in the middle of this clearing, there's a golden circle. And before you enter that golden circle, you already know that this golden circle represents the world that has turned itself into a global culture of love. Every continent, every country, every person in this world operates from a place of oneness and love, not in their minds, but in the very cells of their being. And so if you so choose, I invite you to step into this circle that represents the world that has in its foundation a global culture of love. What does it look like, feel like, seem like? Notice that there are many, many things that are different, but focus on one that comes into your awareness, one aspect, and lean into that, explore it further. And how does this one aspect impact? How does it impact you? How does it impact your life? How does it impact the whole world? And from this place of deep impact, what is one action that you can take today? What is one action that is as if planting a daffodil seed? What is one action that you can take today to be part of this shift, this change? Make a commitment to yourself to this one action and notice what you're experiencing right now. Notice what you notice. Notice how you feel. Notice what's changed in your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. And we take a moment to integrate this possibility through all aspects of our being, through all dimensions of time and space, through all states of awareness and consciousness. Put your hand on your heart. Give thanks for your experience. Step out of that circle. Step out of the field of your spiritual heart and bring your awareness right back here into this room, into this Zoom room, into your body. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in and open your eyes. And my question to you, my final challenge to you, are you willing to take that action, that one action today, knowing that you may be planting a seed in what will become a daffodil field, however small it is? And are you willing to consider a global culture of love every day, just to see what happens in your own consciousness? I see, I live, I call forth, and I accept, and I receive, and I do my action to be part of turning the world into a global consciousness of love. And so it is. And so we let it be.